A viewer asked ScoutCrafter, probably sarcastically, how many screwdrivers does a guy need? So ScoutCrafter asked all of us, how many screwdrivers are enough? I want to warn everybody, this video is going to start out with me showing what I think is a sensible amount of screwdrivers any handy homeowner should have. And then it's going to descend into what could be described as an insane hoarder's cry for help. I'm going to start off with the screwdrivers I keep in the toolbox in the garage. Now what you see here, teenage Magdad bought like 35 years ago. These are all Amsco. This is a Craftsman Phillips. I think this is a no-name. It says Pep Boys on it. It's a Pep Boys Phillips. Hey, have you ever seen one of these before? It's got a ratchet mechanism built into it. It fits on the Phillips screwdrivers. So if you slide it on that way, it helps you loosen. If you flip it around, slide on, helps you tighten. I don't think there's any maker's marks on this. I suspect it's also from Pep Boys. Pretty cool, right? I also found these in the garage toolbox. This is your typical 6-in-1. They're super handy. I have a bunch of these. Someone must have given me this. This is a ratcheting bit driver. Has an assortment of bits. And this one's pretty interesting, right? This is also a bit driver, but it's got like a common handle. Has it got a brand on it? Oh, it does have a brand on it. HDX. And then it comes with an assortment of double-ended bits that also serve as the shaft. So you get a little bit longer reach than maybe with a standard bit driver. And it's got all different kind of bits. I think that's come in handy a couple times. I also keep tools in the cars. This is in one of the cars. There's one of these multi-tool Leatherman knockoffs. That's got a couple screwdriver bits. And another one of those, this is a Roscoe screwdriver. And then another one of these 6-in-1s. Mrs. Magdad's car has one of these ready-made sets. You know, it's got a socket set, some wrenches, some pliers, and it's got a bit driver and several different size bits. These are the screwdrivers I use most down here in the shop. This big one here has a big beefy square shank, and notice how the tip is on the flat side of the square. I think that's the ScoutCrafter preferred design. That comes in handy. Speaking of ScoutCrafter, this was ScoutCrafter's convex tip modification. I use this thing all the time. If you haven't made yourself one of these, give it a shot. This little screwdriver here I keep around because it fits the Dremel mandrels like perfect. So I use it all the time too. This is a North Brothers number 90. This is my workhorse. This has been through a lot. Of course I have another 6-in-1 down here. This one's a channel lock. Made in USA. And then this is a crescent. This has got that 3-lobe design. When I got it, I also ordered these Irwin impact rated bits. And I use that for super tough to get loose screws. We've all probably managed to accumulate 1 million of these little bits. And this is the little magnetic bit driver I made with my mini lathe. This also comes in handy. So everybody in the house wears eyeglasses, so I have to have an assortment of jeweler's screwdrivers. I have 4 over here, and this is a set the Harbor Freight sells. It's got the miniature Phillips, some hex drives, and then the flathead. And this is a set of mini, I guess, Torx or star drive. I think I needed these to work on one of those modern pocket knives. Now, there's no reason any sane person needs over 80 screw-holding screwdrivers, but I would recommend you add a couple to your arsenal. This is the one you're going to find most often. This is the quick wedge design. This is more of a starter than a driver. Screw-holding screwdrivers are available in Phillips also. And this design, I think, is the most practical. It's got a secure screw-holding mechanism, but it's remote control. You can work the mechanism way back here by the handle. And when you retract the mechanism, you have an actual, real, strong, normal screwdriver blade. Each one of these screwdrivers was a YouTube project. I'll leave a link to my screwdriver playlist at the end of the video. Here's some more screwdrivers I've cleaned up. Some of these might have been YouTube videos, and others I just shared on Instagram. Here's some ratcheting screwdrivers. I particularly like this little guy here. Speaking of little guys, I really have a soft spot for these little steel, wood, and brass screwdrivers. Look at the wood that was used for this one. Isn't that beautiful? Over the last couple of years, I started collecting Champion screwdrivers. So far, I have 19 in the collection. The ones with white tags were sent to me by friends. Champion screwdrivers are usually stamped Champion on the shaft, and they have a unique 2-piece notched ferrule design. If you come across a Champion screwdriver at a flea market or yard sale and you're willing to part with it, let me know. We can work out a trade. North Brothers Yankee screwdrivers almost always follow me home from the sales. This is the number 90 standard tip, and this is the number 95 narrow cabinet tip. When Stanley took North Brothers over, they kept the Yankee screwdriver design. They changed the part numbering system, and they changed the color of the handle to this dark blue. I've also accumulated several of these Stanley Workmaster screwdrivers. These have that 3-lobe handle design. I kind of like the smoky gray plastic. Now, I'm not collecting these. I just haven't gotten around to releasing these back into the wild yet. Here's 10 more Craftsman Western Forge screwdrivers with the classic handle design. I've got almost a full set of the Craftsman Professional series. These are older turn screw screwdrivers. They have a flat blade. Goes up into the ferrule. And then a couple of them have a flat blade that transitions into a round blade. What kind of maniac doesn't have 20 or so rusty, beat up, perfect handle style screwdrivers? The biggest one is 16 inches long. and the smallest one is 4 inches long. Okay, this is starting to get a little embarrassing. That's close to 40 wood-handled screwdrivers, and that's not all of them. Here's like 17 more little ones. Some miscellaneous screwdrivers without wooden handles. This one's got some sort of, I don't know if it's paper or some kind of composite handle. This is a JCPenney. This is an early plastic handled Yankee. Miller's Falls, and an aluminum handle. I'm sure if I kept looking around down here, I'd find more miscellaneous piles of screwdrivers like this one. I've been keeping track, and I'm already over 280 screwdrivers. So I'm not going to show any more screwdrivers that people have sent to me. It's probably well over another 100. Mrs. Magdad thinks my New Year's resolution should be not to bring home any more screwdrivers. But just like the coyote, I'm hopeless. A few others have made videos about their screwdriver hoards. I'll put a link to their videos in the description. So how many screwdrivers do you have? I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. ScoutCrafter mentioned punches the other day, so I figured I'd gather them up and see what all I've got. So these here are ones waiting to be cleaned up. And here's ones I have cleaned up. I really dig all the different knurling patterns. When I get a new bluing solution, I like to try it on a punch. That way I have a basis for comparison. These are Harbor Freight hollow punches for punching holes in leather, plastic. This is a set of transfer punches. This is a Harbor Freight set right here. And these are just miscellaneous punches that I've accumulated over the years. I almost forgot Chuck's screwdriver collection.